Having a proper anime adaptation is very important for a series because it ultimately determines how many people are going to follow it. Terrible animation and not following source material is what I consider a bad anime adaptation. People are not going to watch the show, which means you lose the potential fans that you could have gotten had you had a good anime adaptation. This really hurts the people that read the source material because they're the main ones hyping it up, saying how good it was going to be and how it's going to take over. But then when the anime flops, they're like, oh, go read the manga, go read the light novel, go play the visual novel. But bruh, no one's going to do all that. In most scenarios, if a viewer doesn't like the anime, then they're not going to care enough to go to the source material, which leads me to what makes a good anime adaptation. A good anime adaptation is quite literally the opposite for everything that I just said. So that means good animation and being consistent with the source material. But I think there's also one more detail, which is also the most important detail, and that's bringing everything to life. Soundtrack, voice acting, being able to sometimes say this moment was even better in the anime than it was in the manga. I believe these factors is what makes a good anime adaptation, and why I also believe that Chainsaw Man is the perfect example of one. In this video, I'll be further explaining what I mean by everything I just said and explain just how good Chainsaw Man is. But before all that, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. If you don't know already, Chainsaw Man is a story about a boy named Denji that has his whole life turned upside down when he fuses with a devil named Pochita. This fusion allows him to have chainsaw come out his body, making him the Chainsaw Man. With his newfound powers, he decides to enlist in an organization dedicated to hunting devils. I first found out about Chainsaw Man back in 2020, right around when the first part was ending. And yes, if you don't know, Chainsaw Man is divided up into parts. The anime is on the first part while the manga is currently on the second, like on some JoJo stuff pretty much. At first I wanted to wait until the anime came out, but there was just so much hype even back then that I just said, you know what bruh, fine, I'll just go ahead and read it. And all I gotta say is I have never ever binged a series so fast in my life, and I'll further explain what I mean. But first, let's get into some of the things that stick out with this anime, starting with the studio that's animating it, MAPPA. Man, we all knew that MAPPA was gonna come through with this anime. It's honestly no surprise at this point. Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan Season 4, Dororo were all peak, and they made sure to keep the same level of quality with the Chainsaw Man adaptation. Everything is fluid, crisp, great CGI fights, and they made sure to give us extended scenes in the parts that matter the most. Like, look how beautiful the animation was when Aki was doing his morning routine. They were just showing up at that point, because it was just so unnecessary, but somehow necessary at the same time. On top of this, we were given something that we have never seen before, and that's a different ending to each episode. I remember seeing an announcement on Twitter saying they were going to do this, and I thought, man, ain't no way they were gonna do that. It has to be a lie. Because on the list, I saw a bunch of great artists like Aimer and E. I was like, okay, y'all not gonna summon J-pop Avengers for this anime. But they actually pulled it off. Like, these were some great endings. I don't really think there were any misses. 7 was the best one though, don't at me. The only thing I would say though about MAPPA is to please let those employees go home. Like, as much as a good job they're doing, it seems like every time I go on social media, I see they're always picking up a new series to anime, which is wild because they're already struggling to finish their, like, what, 10th anime that they already have? Those people have a family map, but please stop accepting these products, please. Well, actually, if y'all somehow get your hands on Berserk, I'm not gonna lie, if they can get their hands on Berserk, their family gotta wait because Berserk takes priority over everything. It's way more important than their family. Next up is characters, and of course I have to talk about our main character, Denji, first. When thinking about Denji, you think about the horny, funny, dumbass character that he is, and even though that's all an accurate description of him, he's more than that. As we all saw, he had a tough backstory. Most of his life, Denji was forced to collect money to pay off the debt that his father left behind. He did anything that he could to chase that bag, like selling some of his organs and even one of his balls. As a result, Denji's life was obviously horrible. Like, bro only had enough to eat half a slice of bread every month. All Denji ever wants to do is live the life that he wants to live, and Pochita granted him this wish by granting him devil powers, which led him to being free from his debt and ultimately starting his second life. Now we all know in any other shonen, when a character gets a tragic backstory and somehow gets powers to dedicate their whole life to protecting others and fighting for justice, all that corny good guy stuff. But Denji's different. He does not care about all that. He is not some self-righteous hero, nor does he ever care to be. Like, this man would literally go to war with devils, fighting for 7 days and 7 nights straight just to sniff some ass.
I knew we had something kind of, that's why we locked in like this, bro. I knew we had something common.
And this is why I like Denji. Even though his life is far from normal, he enjoys and appreciates everything that he has now, like eating jam on bread and taking a nice shower, because he didn't have any of that before. Aside from Denji, we have other great characters like Power, who matches Denji's stupid and childish behavior, but as a result they create a great duo. To look after these two dumbasses to make sure they don't mess up anything is Aki, who's a cool but yet tragic character. Together they make a trio of pretty much a father looking after his two stupid kids, but you can't help but love them. Next up we have Makima, and We all know about her. There's really not much else to say. And finally, we have Kobene. See, I want to talk about her for a minute because when she was first introduced, a lot of people didn't like her. She's annoying, cries a lot, big baby, but when people saw that she got them hands, then that's when they started to like her. The hate was crazy, but at least now they know that she got that dog in her and driving skills smash. If you know, you know. When thinking about the next couple things that I liked about Chainsaw Man, I was stuck because when you generally think of things that you like about a series, you think about action, fights, comedy, plot, etc, etc, etc. But to be honest, none of those things really stuck out and felt right when describing Chainsaw Man. I felt like there was something more, and after thinking about it for a bit, I came out with my answer as to why. And the reason why is because the author is crazy. This man will structure things in his story in the most unpredictable and crazy way possible. You might get a nice slice of life scene, then it turns into a bloody fight scene, which somehow turns into a joke, but then something emotional happens and now you're crying. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's somehow one of the best things I've ever seen. I honestly don't even know how he does it because it's just so crazy and unconventional, but it works. This is the reason why I was able to read the manga so fast, because it introduced me to something that I have never seen before. This leads me to my final point, and that's the future of this anime. To be honest, the first part in anime is garbage compared to what's to come. Everything gets even more wild and crazy. The next half has moments that's gonna break the internet, guaranteed. I'm more than confident to say that whenever the first season ends, Chainsaw Man will get put into that discussion of best new gen anime. That statement really applies to the anime owners because manga readers already know that's already in that discussion. With the rate at which the series is going and the amount of potential that it has, I can honestly see it being one of the greatest animes of all time. We'll obviously have to see how that goes because that's a big statement, but just by the way everything has been laid out so far and just what's to come, I just don't think MAPPA or this series in itself would fail to disappoint. It'll just continue to get better and better. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Series like Chainsaw Man really makes me excited for the future of anime because it just shows us that these new series can continue to get better and better. I know a lot of people think that anime peaked 10 years ago and it's never been the same ever since, but I find it to be wrong. Vinland Saga, ReZero, Main Abyss, Jobless Reincarnation, Licorice Recoil, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and many more has proven that to not be the case, and we can always look forward to something new. The future is bright and anything can happen. But that's all I gotta say, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. L. Sai.